My name is Lily Mae Morrison. I am 8 years old, and I am dying. The cattle auction ground smells like manure and tobacco spit. The August sun beats down on Redstone Valley like a hammer on an anvil. 50 men stand in a loose circle around me. Their boots kick up dust that chokes what little breath I have left. Nobody helps. I lie in the dirt between the livestock pens and the wagon yard. My cheek pressed against earth that tastes like copper and ash. The world tilts sideways. Everything goes soft at the edges like a photograph left too long in the sun. Someone says, "That's Harlow's runaway." Another voice, flat and unconcerned, "Let him deal with it." Boots shuffle. Men turn away. The auction continues. I hear the auctioneer's voice rising and falling like a hymn sung in a language I don't understand. Cattle low in the distance. A horse whinnies. Life goes on, just not mine. My back hurts. The whip marks from yesterday haven't stopped bleeding. The thin cotton dress I wear, stolen from a laundry line 3 days ago, sticks to the wounds. Every breath feels like swallowing broken glass. My stomach is empty. 3 days empty. Maybe 4. I stopped counting. The sun is too bright. I close my eyes. Maybe this is better. Maybe dying is easier than running, easier than remembering, easier than being Lily Mae Morrison, the cursed girl nobody wants. Mama said I was cursed, right before the fever took her. She looked at me with those yellow eyes and whispered, "I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry you got my curse." I was 6 years old then. The orphanage burned down 2 weeks after they took me. They said it was an accident, but I knew. The curse followed me like a shadow. The Hendersons took me in after that. Good people, church people. Their barn collapsed 3 months later, killed their oldest son, Jacob. He was 12. Mrs. Henderson looked at me with tears streaming down her face and said, "You have to go." So I went. Mr. Harlow found me on the streets of Helena, said he ran a home for children like me, said he'd give me food and shelter and work, said God had a plan for the unfortunate. He didn't mention the whip. He didn't mention the chains. He didn't mention the children who disappeared in winter and never came back. But I learned fast. Now I'm here. Now I'm dying in the dirt at a cattle auction while 50 men watch. And all I can think is, at least the curse stops with me. At least no one else has to die because they loved me. Then I hear a little girl scream, "Daddy, someone's dying!" Footsteps, running, fast. A shadow falls across my face, blocking the sun. I try to open my eyes, but my lids are too heavy. I hear breathing, heavy, like someone who just ran hard. Jesus Christ! A man's voice, deep, rough like gravel in a creek bed. Hands touch my neck, big hands, calloused, checking for a pulse. I want to fight. Men who touch me always hurt me, but I'm too weak. My arms won't move. "She's alive." The man's voice cracks. "Barely." "Daddy, help her." The little girl again. Closer now. The man tears open my dress. I feel air on my back, on the wounds. I hear him suck in breath, sharp, shocked. "Who did this?" he whispers. No one answers. He presses his mouth to mine, breathes. Air rushes into my lungs. Once. It burns, like swallowing fire. "Daddy, is she dead?" The little girl's voice breaks like glass. He breathes again, twice, 3 times. I cough, gasp. My chest rises and falls on its own now. Air tastes like leather and horses and something else, something clean. My eyes flutter open. Blue sky, clouds like cotton, and a man's face. He's maybe 30-something, weathered, lines around his eyes like he's spent years squinting into the sun. Rough beard, dark hair with gray starting at the temples, but his eyes brown and deep and sad. They're what I notice, eyes that have seen death before. "You're alive," he says. His voice is gentle now. "You're gonna be okay." I try to speak, but my throat won't work. A little girl appears beside him, blonde braids tied with blue ribbons, freckles across her nose like stars. Maybe 10 years old. She wears a simple cotton dress, dusty from travel. Her eyes are wide with fear and something else. Something I haven't seen in a long time. Kindness. "Daddy, can she come home with us?" she whispers. The man looks at his daughter, looks at me, looks at the circle of men who just stood there and watched me die. His jaw tightens. "Yeah, Maggie," he says. "She can." If you're watching from anywhere in the world, comment your state below. Subscribe now, because what this cowboy did next changed everything. The man lifts me like I weigh nothing. Maybe I don't. I'm all bones and sharp edges now. Mama used to say I was plump like a Christmas goose. That was before. Before the curse. Before Harlow. The man smells like honest sweat and wood smoke and something sweet, like hay after rain. His shirt is rough cotton, work clothes. His arms don't shake, even though I know I must be heavy enough to notice. "Where's the doctor?" he calls out. The men don't answer. They just stare. Some look away. Guilty. I said, "Where's the goddamn doctor?" An old man with a white beard finally points. "Morrison's office, 2 streets over." The man starts walking. Fast. His daughter Maggie runs beside him. A little boy appears too, maybe 6 years old, dark hair like his father's. He clutches his sister's hand. "Pa, is she gonna die?" the boy asks. "Not if I can help it, Sam." We move through the auction ground. People part like water. I see their faces, some curious, some disgusted. One woman covers her child's eyes and turns away. I don't blame her. I must look like death, feel like it too. The sun hammers down, the world sways. I close my eyes. When I open them again, we're inside, cool, dark. Smells like carbolic acid and old leather. "Doc," the man shouts. "Doc Morrison." An older man appears. Spectacles, white hair, sleeves rolled up to his elbows. He sees me and his face goes pale. "Lord have mercy. Put her on the table." The man lays me down gentle. The table is cold metal. It feels good against my burning skin. Doc Morrison cuts away my dress with scissors. I hear him breathe out slow through his nose, the way people do when they're trying not to be sick. "How long has she been like this?" Morrison asks. "Don't know. Found her at the auction ground, not breathing." Morrison lifts my eyelids, shines a light, checks my pulse. His hands are old and steady, practiced. "Severe malnutrition," he mutters. "Dehydration, infected lacerations from repeated whipping." He pauses. "This is systematic abuse." "Who did this?" The man's voice is tight, controlled, but I hear the rage underneath, like a fire burning low. Morrison doesn't answer. He just looks at the man. Something passes between them. Understanding. The doctor turns to his cabinet, pulls out bottles, bandages, a needle and thread. "This is going to hurt," Morrison says to me. "I'm sorry." He cleans the wounds. I scream, can't help it. The man, the one who saved me, he holds my hand. His grip is firm, steady. "I got you," he says. "I got you." I believe him, don't know why, but I do. Morrison stitches, bandages, pours water down my throat even though I choke on it, gives me something bitter to swallow. "Laudanum," he explains, "for the pain." The world goes soft, fuzzy, like looking through fog. I hear voices but can't make out words. The man, the doctor, low and serious. Then Maggie's voice clear and bright. "She's pretty, Pa, under all the dirt." "She's a child, Maggie, not a doll." "I know, but can we keep her?" Silence. Then, "We'll see." The laudanum pulls me under, down into darkness that doesn't hurt. For the first time in 3 years, I sleep without nightmares. I wake up in a bed, a real bed. Soft blankets, clean sheets that smell like lavender, pillow under my head. Afternoon light streams through a window with actual glass. Curtains flutter in a breeze that carries the scent of pine trees and grass. For a moment I think I'm dead. This must be what heaven looks like. Then I feel the pain, dull now, manageable, but real. I'm alive. Panic hits. Where am I? Who brought me here? Is this another orphanage, another family who'll keep me until the curse strikes? and then throw me away. I try to sit up. My body screams in protest. Don't move! A girl's voice. Maggie sits in a chair beside the bed. She's reading a book. When she sees I'm awake, she marks her place and sets it down. You're safe, she says, like it's the simplest thing in the world. I'm Maggie. That's my brother Sam. A little boy peeks from behind her. Dark eyes. Thumb halfway to his mouth, like he's deciding whether to suck it. And that's our pa, Mr. Cade Thornhill. The man from the auction stands in the doorway, tall, wears dusty ranch clothes now, vest over a cotton shirt, bandana tied loose around his neck, boots worn at the heels. He looks like every cowboy I've ever seen, but different somehow, quieter, sadder. Where am I? My voice comes out cracked, broken. Our ranch, Cade says. Redstone Valley, about 10 miles outside town. Why? He tilts his head. Why what? Why did you save me? He's quiet for a long moment. Then he walks into the room, slow, careful, like approaching a spooked horse. He kneels beside the bed. His eyes are level with mine now. My name is Cade Thornhill. I'm a rancher, widower. These are my children Maggie and Sam. We don't have much, but what we have we share. He pauses. And we don't turn away kids who need help. You're taking me back to Mr. Harlow. It's not a question. Everyone always takes me back. No. The orphanage then. No. Then where? Cade looks at his daughter, at his son, then back at me. Nowhere you don't want to go. I've heard that before. It's always a lie. But something in his voice makes me want to believe. Maybe it's the pain medicine. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe I'm just tired of running. I don't understand, I whisper. Cade sits back on his heels, runs a hand through his hair. He looks at the floor, at the wall, anywhere but at me. 3 years ago, he says, my wife Martha got sick, fever, started in her lungs, spread fast. Maggie reaches for her brother's hand. Doc Morrison did everything he could, but medicine only goes so far. She died on a Tuesday. Early morning, I was holding her hand. His voice is steady, but his eyes aren't. The last thing she said to me was, take care of our babies. And I said I would. I promised. He finally looks at me. When I saw you dying at that auction ground, and 50 men just standing there watching, I thought about Martha, about how helpless I felt, how useless. He swallows hard. Someone should have helped you a long time ago, and nobody did, so I'm doing it now, because it's right, and because I can. I don't know what to say, don't know what to think. Maggie scoots her chair closer. You can stay as long as you want. We have extra space, and Ma's clothes don't fit me yet, so you can wear them. Sam nods. Still hasn't said a word, but his eyes are kind. What's your name? Kate asks. I hesitate. Names have power. Mama taught me that. Once you give someone your name, they have a piece of you. But these people saved me, fed me, gave me a real bed. Lily? I whisper. Lily Mae Morrison. How old are you, Lily? 8, I think. Maybe 9 now. Lost track. Cade nods. When's your birthday? Don't know. Mama never told me. She died before I could ask. Something shifts in his face, softens. Well then, we'll pick a day. Maggie, when should Lily's birthday be? Maggie thinks hard. Spring, April, when the wildflowers come. April 15th then, Cade decides. That's your birthday now, Lily Mae Morrison. Tears come before I can stop them, hot and fast and shameful. I turn my face away. I'm sorry, I choke out. For what? For crying. Mr. Harlow said crying means you're weak, means you deserve punishment. Cade stands up fast. His chair scrapes against the floor. Mr. Harlow, he says slowly, is wrong about a lot of things. He walks to the window, stares out at something I can't see. Crying doesn't make you weak, Lily. It makes you human, and anybody who punishes a child for crying is no kind of man at all. He turns back to face me. You're allowed to cry here. You're allowed to be scared. You're allowed to be 8 years old. I don't know what to say to that. Never heard anything like it before. Maggie climbs onto the bed beside me, careful not to touch my wounds. Want to see your room? Pa fixed it up yesterday while you were sleeping. This isn't my room. This is the guest room. Your room is upstairs, next to mine. I get my own room. Maggie laughs. Of course you do. Where else would you sleep? I think about the barn at Harlow's place. 23 children on the floor. Hay for mattresses. 1 thin blanket each. No heat in winter. I don't need my own room, I say quickly. I can sleep anywhere. I don't take up much space. Cade crosses back to the bed, kneels again. Lily, look at me. I do. You're not a burden. You're not taking anything away from us. You're a child who needs help, and we're going to help you. Understand? But why? The words burst out. Why would you help me? You don't know me. I could be bad. I could be cursed. Cursed? Maggie frowns. What does that mean? Bad things happen to people who love me. My mama died. The orphanage burned. The Hendersons' barn collapsed and killed their son. Everywhere I go, people die. I'm crying again now. Can't stop. I should leave, before the curse gets you too, before your children die because of me. Cade doesn't move, doesn't flinch. He just looks at me with those sad, steady eyes. Lily, bad things don't happen because you're cursed. They happen because the world is hard and unfair, and sometimes there's no reason at all. But my wife died. I prayed every night. Begged God to spare her. He didn't. Was that a curse? Or was it just sickness? He reaches out slow, gives me time to pull away. When I don't, he puts his hand on my shoulder, gentle, like I'm made of glass. You're not cursed. You're unlucky, and there's a difference. What difference? Curses aren't real, but luck can change. I want to believe him. Want it so badly my chest hurts. What if you're wrong? I whisper. Then we'll deal with whatever comes, together. Sam finally speaks. His voice is small and high, like a bird's song. We're pretty tough, right, Pa? Cade smiles. First time I've seen it. It changes his whole face, makes him look younger. Yeah, son, we're pretty tough. I fall asleep again before I can see my new room. The medicine and exhaustion pull me under like quicksand. When I wake, it's night, dark outside. The lamp on the bedside table turned low. Cade sits in the chair where Maggie was, reading a book. He looks up when I stir. How do you feel? Sore. Thirsty. He pours water from a pitcher, helps me sit up, holds the cup steady while I drink. The water is cold, clean, sweet. Not like the water at Harlow's place that always tasted like rust and mud. Where are Maggie and Sam? I ask. Bed, it's late. What time? Near midnight. Why are you still awake? He closes his book, sets it on the table. Someone needs to watch you, make sure the fever doesn't come back. Doc Morrison said the next few days are critical. You don't have to do that. I'll be fine. Maybe, but I'm staying anyway. We sit in silence. Not uncomfortable, just quiet. The night sounds drift through the window. Crickets. A coyote howling somewhere far off. The wind in the pines. Mr. Cade. Just Cade is fine. Cade, what's going to happen tomorrow? He leans forward, elbows on his knees, hands clasped. Tomorrow Doc Morrison comes to check your wounds. We'll get you some proper clothes. Maggie wants to teach you to read if you don't know how, and Sam wants to show you the horses. No, I mean what happens with Mr. Harlow. He'll come for me. He always comes for runaways. Cade's jaw tightens. Let him come. You don't understand. He has papers, legal papers that say I'm his. A judge in Helena signed them. Papers or not, he nearly killed you. That makes them worthless in my book. The law doesn't care what you think. The law says I'm his property. You're not property. You're a child. The law doesn't care about that either. Cade stands, walks to the window, stares out at the darkness. Then I guess we'll have to make the law care. How? He doesn't answer right away, just stands there silhouetted against the window. Finally he turns back. I don't know yet, but I'll figure something out. What if you can't? Then I'll do what's necessary. There's something in his voice, something hard and final. It scares me a little, but also makes me feel safe in a way I haven't felt in years. Cade, yeah, Thank you for saving me. He crosses back to the chair, sits down, picks up his book but doesn't open it. You don't have to thank me, Lily. Yes, I do. Nobody else would have helped. You did. He looks at me for a long moment. My wife, Martha. She used to say that the measure of a man isn't what he does when people are watching. It's what he does when nobody's looking. Is that why you helped me? Because she would have wanted you to. No, I helped you because you needed help, and because standing by while a child dies is something I won't do, can't do. He pauses. But yeah, Martha would have been proud. I close my eyes, feel the weight of clean blankets, the softness of a real pillow, the safety of walls and a locked door. For the first time in 3 years, I let myself hope. Maybe the curse is broken. Maybe my luck really has changed. Maybe Cade Thornhill and his children are the family I've been waiting for all along. Morning comes too early. The sun barely clears the mountains when I hear horses. Lots of them. The sound of hoofbeats on hard-packed earth. Men's voices, rough, demanding. I know that sound, know what it means. Mr. Harlow has come. Cade must hear it too because he's up and out of the chair before I can blink. He moves fast for a big man, silent. Stay here, he says. Don't come out no matter what you hear. But stay. Here. He's gone before I can argue. I hear his boots on the stairs, the front door opening, then closing. I should listen, should stay in bed like he said, but I can't. I slide out from under the blankets. My legs shake. Everything hurts. The bandages pull tight across my back. I don't care. I creep to the window, careful to stay hidden behind the curtain. 4 men on horses in the yard, maybe 30 feet from the house. Mr. Harlow sits in front, tall, broad, gray beard, black coat despite the heat. He looks like a preacher. That's what fooled Mama, made her think he was a good man. Behind him, 3 of his workers. I recognize them. Jonas Reed, tall and thin with a scar down his cheek. The Miller brothers, thick-built and mean. Cade stands on the porch, alone. No gun visible, but I know he has one somewhere. Men like him always do. Mr. Thornhill. Harlow's voice carries clear across the yard, smooth, educated. Good morning, Harlow. I believe you have something that belongs to me. Don't know what you mean. Don't play games. The girl, the runaway from my facility. You mean the dying child I saved. That girl. Harlow smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. Semantics. She is registered under my care. Legal guardianship papers filed with the Helena magistrate. I have copies if you'd like to see them. Don't need to see anything. Girl's staying here till she heals. I'm afraid that's not your decision to make. I'm making it anyway. The Miller brothers shift in their saddles, hands moving toward gun belts. Cade doesn't move. Mr. Thornhill, I understand you're new to this valley. Perhaps you don't know how things work here. I run a charitable facility for orphaned children. I provide food, shelter, and vocational training. In exchange, they work. It's a fair arrangement. Fair, Cade says slowly. Doesn't usually involve whip marks and near death. Discipline is necessary for children from difficult backgrounds. The rod and reproof give wisdom, Mr. Thornhill. Proverbs 29:15. I'm sure a godly man like yourself understands. I understand you beat children. I understand that girl nearly died under your care. And I understand that makes your papers worth less than the shit I scrape off my boots. Harlow's smile vanishes. Strong words. Do you have strong actions to back them up? Try me. Silence, thick and heavy. The morning sun climbs higher. Somewhere a rooster crows. Jonas Reed clears his throat. Mr. Harlow, maybe we should... Quiet. Harlow stares at Cade, measuring, calculating. Very well. I'll give you 7 days to reconsider. After that, I'll return with Marshal Wade and proper legal documentation, and you will surrender the girl, voluntarily or otherwise. 7 days, then. Use them wisely, Mr. Thornhill. Think about your children. about what happens to ranchers who make enemies of the wrong people. He yanks his horse's reins, turns. The other men follow. They ride away at a walk, slow, deliberate, a statement. Cade doesn't move until they disappear over the ridge, then his shoulders sag, just slightly, just for a moment. He turns back toward the house, and that's when he sees me at the window. Our eyes meet. He doesn't look angry that I disobeyed, just tired. So tired. Cade doesn't say anything about me watching, doesn't scold, just goes about his morning like nothing happened. But something did happen. I saw it in his face, heard it in his voice. He's scared, not for himself, for me, for his children. And it's all my fault. After breakfast, real eggs and bacon and biscuits with butter, Maggie takes me upstairs to see my room. It's small, just big enough for a bed, a dresser, and a chair by the window. But it's clean, fresh paint, new curtains, quilt on the bed that looks handmade. Ma made that quilt, Maggie says. Before she got sick, Pa said you could have it. I run my hand over the stitching. Tiny, perfect squares in blues and yellows and greens. I can't take this. It was your mother's. She made it for guests. That's you now. I'm not a guest. I'm just your family. Maggie says it so simply, like it's already decided. Pa said so this morning. He did. Yep. Told me and Sam that you're our responsibility now. Same as feeding the chickens or mucking the stalls. We take care of our own. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm the same as chickens, Maggie grins. You're way prettier than chickens, and you smell better. This time I do laugh, can't help it. Sam appears in the doorway. Lily, want to see the horses. I don't know how to ride. That's okay. You can just pet them. They're nice, except Brutus. He bites. Then why do you keep him? Sam shrugs. Pa says sometimes the difficult ones are worth the trouble. He looks at me when he says it. Direct, honest. I realize he's not just talking about horses. We go outside. The sun is warm but not brutal. A breeze carries the smell of grass and wildflowers and something else. Something clean and alive. The ranch is bigger than I expected. House, barn, corral, chicken coop, tool shed, vegetable garden behind the house where tomatoes grow fat on the vine. Everything is neat, orderly, loved. Sam leads me to the corral where 3 horses graze, a big bay gelding, a chestnut mare, and a smaller paint horse with brown and white patches. That's Brutus. Sam points at the bay. He's Pa's, ornery but fast. The mare is Clover, Maggie adds. She was Ma's horse. She's gentle. And the paint, I ask. That's Juniper. She's mine. Well, mine and Sam's. We share. Sam climbs up on the fence rail, holds out his hand. Juniper trots over, snuffles his palm looking for treats. No apples today, girl. Sorry. The horse doesn't seem to mind. She lets Sam scratch between her ears. Want to try? He asks me. I hesitate. Never touched a horse before. They're so big, so powerful. But Sam's face is so hopeful, and Juniper's eyes are dark and kind. I climb up beside him, reach out slow. My hand shakes. Juniper's nose is soft, velvet, warm. She snorts once. I pull back. It's okay, Sam says. She's just saying hello. I try again. This time I don't pull away. I stroke her nose, her neck, feel the muscles underneath, the strength. She likes you, Sam announces. How can you tell her ears? When they're forward like that, she's happy. We stand there for a while, me and Sam and Juniper, the morning sun warm on our backs, the world quiet except for bird song and the rustle of grass. For a moment, I forget about Harlow, forget about the curse, forget about being afraid. For a moment, I'm just a girl petting a horse, just Lily. That night, Cade calls a meeting. We sit at the kitchen table, me, Maggie, Sam, and Cade. Lamplight flickers across our faces. Outside, night settles over the valley like a blanket. We need to talk, Cade says. About what happens next. Harlow's coming back, I say. In 7 days. Yes. With the marshal. Probably. And papers that say I'm his. Those papers are wrong, but yes, he'll have them. Maggie leans forward. So what do we do? Cade runs his hand through his hair. A gesture I'm learning means he's worried. Honestly, I don't know yet, but I'm working on it. You could just let me go back, I say quietly, before anyone gets hurt. 3 pairs of eyes snap to me. No, Cade says, flat, final, but Lily, look at me. I do. I made a promise. When I pulled you out of that dirt at the auction, when I breathed air into your lungs, I made a promise. Maybe not out loud, but I made it all the same. What promise? That you'd be safe, that nobody would hurt you again, and I don't break promises. But Harlow has the law. Then we'll change the law. You can't just change the law. Cade leans back in his chair, studies the ceiling like answers might be written there. My wife Martha. She used to say that laws are made by people, and anything made by people can be unmade, can be fixed. But how? I don't know yet, he admits. But I've got some ideas, and some friends who might help. What friends? He smiles, small but real. You'll meet them tomorrow. Tomorrow comes with a knock on the door. I'm in my room when I hear it. Getting dressed in one of Martha's old dresses that Maggie altered to fit. It's too big in the shoulders and too long in the hem, but it's clean and whole and nobody else has worn it to death. I creep to the top of the stairs. Listen. Cade Thornhill as I live and breathe. A woman's voice, old, sturdy, like tree roots that have seen 100 winters. Mrs. Brennan, thank you for coming. Wouldn't miss it. Heard you pulled a child from death's door at the auction. True. True enough. And Harlow wants her back. He does. Over my dead body. I peek around the corner, see an old woman in the doorway, maybe 60, gray hair pulled back in a severe bun, black dress, but her eyes are sharp, alive, fierce. Can I see her? Mrs. Brennan asks. Lily Cade calls. Come down, please. I hesitate, then descend the stairs on bare feet. Quiet. Mrs. Brennan looks me over, takes in the bandages visible above the dress collar. The way I hold myself careful, like everything still hurts. Lord have mercy, she whispers. What that man did to you. I'm okay, I say automatically. No, child, you're not. But you will be. She crosses to me, kneels despite her age, takes my hands in hers. They're rough, working hands, but warm. My name is Margaret Brennan. I'm a widow. Lost my husband 10 years ago, lost my only son in the war, but I've still got fight in me, and I'm going to help Mr. Thornhill help you. Understand? Why would you do that? Because I'm old and tired of watching bad men win. Because children shouldn't suffer for adult sins. And because, she pauses, swallows hard, because my son died trying to make this world better. And I'll be damned if I let his sacrifice mean nothing. I don't know what to say to that, but I don't have to say anything. Mrs. Brennan pulls me into a hug, gentle, careful of my wounds, and for the second time in 2 days, I let myself cry. The wagon appears on the horizon 2 days after Mrs. Brennan's visit. I'm in the garden with Maggie pulling weeds from between the tomato plants. The sun hangs high and hot. Sweat trickles down my back, stinging the healing wounds, but I don't complain. Real work the kind you choose feels different than the work at Harlow's place. Maggie sees it first, shades her eyes against the glare. Someone's coming. My heart stops. Harlow. No, different wagon, smaller, just one person driving. I stand up too fast. The garden spins. Maggie catches my arm. It's okay, Lily. Probably just a neighbor. But her voice isn't sure. We watch the wagon approach. Slow, steady. A single horse pulling it. And as it gets closer, I see the driver, a woman. Dark hair pinned up under a simple bonnet, travel-stained dress. She sits straight despite what must be hours on the road. When she's close enough, I see her face. Young? Maybe 27 or 28. Pretty in a tired way. Like someone who's seen hard things but hasn't let them break her. The wagon pulls into the yard, stops near the house. Cade comes out from the barn. He sees the wagon. His face goes through several expressions at once. Surprise, confusion, then something like resignation. You're early, he says. Letter said September. The woman climbs down, brushes dust from her skirts. Her movements are precise, controlled. I had to leave Philadelphia sooner than expected. Her voice is educated, Eastern, out of place in this rough valley. My late husband's family. Circumstances changed. I couldn't wait. I see. They stand there, awkward. Strangers trying to figure out how to be something more. The woman notices me and Maggie by the garden. Her eyes linger on me, taking in the bandages, the too big dress, the way I stand half hidden behind Maggie like I might need to run. Is this your daughter? She asks Cade. No, this is Lily. She's staying with us. Staying? It's complicated. The woman's face doesn't change, but something shifts in her eyes, like she's calculating, adjusting plans. I'm Eleanor Winters, she says to me directly. Most people call me Ellie. Lily Morrison, I whisper. It's nice to meet you, Lily. She doesn't sound like she means it. Not mean exactly, just surprised. Like I'm a problem she didn't expect. Maggie steps forward. Miss Ellie, are you the mail-order bride Aunt Sarah arranged? Maggie? Cade's voice is sharp, but not angry. Embarrassed. What? That's what Aunt Sarah called it. She said Pa needed help with the household and that you were coming to marry him. Ellie's mouth twitches, almost a smile. Well, your aunt wasn't wrong. She looks at Cade. He looks back. A whole conversation happens in that silence. Finally, Cade says, let me help with your bags. That night, the house feels different. Ellie takes the guest room, my old room. I'm upstairs now in what used to be Martha's sewing room. It's smaller, but it's mine. My own space, my own door that locks. At dinner, we all sit around the table. Ellie at one end, Cade at the other. Me, Maggie, and Sam in between, like a real family, except we're not. We're strangers playing pretend. Ellie made the meal, chicken and dumplings, better than anything I've tasted in years. She moves around the kitchen like she knows what she's doing. Efficient. No wasted motion. This is delicious, Cade says. Thank you. Where'd you learn to cook like this? My mother, before she died. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. More silence. Just the sound of forks on plates. Sam breaks it. Miss Ellie, are you really going to marry Pa? Sam, Maggie hisses. What I want to know. Ellie sets down her fork, looks at Sam with serious eyes. That was the arrangement, yes. Your aunt wrote to me. Said your father needed help. I need a fresh start. It seemed practical for both of us. Practical, Sam repeats, testing the word. Yes. Ma and Pa loved each other, that's what they always said. Ellie's face softens, just slightly. I'm sure they did, but sometimes practical is good too, especially when children are involved. She glances at me when she says it. I pretend not to notice. After dinner, I help Maggie wash dishes. Ellie and Cade go to the porch to talk. Private. I can see them through the window. Can't hear words, but I read body language. Cade's shoulders are tense, defensive. Ellie's arms are crossed, uncertain. She seems nice, Maggie says. I guess. You don't like her. I don't know her. Pa doesn't either, not really. But Aunt Sarah thought it was a good idea. Was your Aunt Sarah smart? The smartest. She's Pa's sister, lives in Denver now. She said Pa needed someone to help with the house and us kids, said he couldn't do it alone forever. I scrub a plate harder than necessary. What about you? Do you need someone? Maggie is quiet for a moment. Then, I miss Ma every day. Nothing will change that, but maybe having a woman around again would be good. Someone to talk to about girl things. You know, I don't know, never had a mother long enough to learn about girl things, but I nod anyway. Through the window, I see Ellie reach out, touch Cade's arm. He doesn't pull away. Something sharp and ugly twists in my stomach. Jealousy. But that's stupid. Cade isn't mine. This isn't my family. I'm just a stray he picked up, a problem he's trying to solve before Harlow comes back. I finish the dishes in silence. That night, I have the nightmare again, the shed. cold seeping through the walls. Samuel beside me shivering, his lips turning blue. Lily, I'm scared. I know. Me too. Are we going to die? No. Someone will come. Someone will let us out. But nobody comes. In the morning, Samuel won't wake up. His skin is ice. His eyes are open, but empty. And I scream and scream and scream, Lily! Hands on my shoulders, shaking me gently. I wake up swinging, fists flying, connecting with something soft. Ow, Lily, stop, it's me, Ellie's voice. I blink. The room comes into focus. My room, safe. The lamp on the bedside table casting warm light. Ellie stands beside my bed, hand pressed to her cheek where I hit her, but she doesn't look angry, just concerned. You were screaming, she says. I heard you from downstairs. I'm sorry I hit you. It's okay, you were asleep, dreaming. It wasn't a dream, it was a memory. Ellie sits on the edge of my bed, careful, like approaching a wild animal. Want to talk about it? No. Okay. We sit in silence. The house creaks. Wind rattles the windows. I used to have nightmares too, Ellie says quietly. After my husband died, sometimes I still do. What kind of nightmares? The kind where I can't breathe. Where the walls close in, where I'm trapped and nobody can hear me screaming. She looks at her hands. They're shaking slightly. My husband. He wasn't a good man. Not like Mr. Thornhill. When he drank, he got mean, and he drank most nights. I stare at her. This put-together woman with her proper voice and neat hair and careful manners. He hit you, among other things. Did you hit him back? Once. He broke my wrist for it. She pushes up her sleeve. Shows me a scar on her forearm. Thin, white, old, but permanent. The doctor in Philadelphia asked how it happened. I told him I fell. He knew I was lying, but what could he do? My husband was alive. I was his wife, his property. What happened to him? Factory accident, crushed by machinery. They said he died instantly. I didn't cry at the funeral. Everyone thought I was in shock. But really, I was just relieved. She pulls her sleeve back down, smooths the fabric. His family blamed me, said I brought bad luck, that I killed him somehow. They wanted money they claimed he owed them. I didn't have it, didn't want to borrow it, so I ran. To here. We look at each other, two broken people sitting in the dark. Is that why you're marrying Mr. Cade, just to escape? Partly. But also, she pauses, chooses words carefully. Also because I'm tired of being afraid, tired of being alone. And Mr. Thornhill seems like a good man, a safe man. That's more than most women get. Do you love him? No, not yet. Maybe not ever. But I respect him, and respect is a decent foundation. She stands, smooths my blankets, tucks them around me like I'm a child, like I'm hers. Try to sleep, Lily. You're safe here. Am I? Yes. How do you know? Because I've seen Mr. Thornhill look at you, the way he looks at Maggie and Sam, like you're precious, like he'd burn the world down before he let anyone hurt you. She moves toward the door, stops, looks back. My husband looked at me like I was property, like something he owned. Mr. Thornhill doesn't look at anyone like that. He's not perfect, but he's good, and good men are rare. She leaves. The door clicks shut softly. I lie in the dark, thinking about good men, about safety, about whether the curse can be broken just by believing it can. Eventually, I sleep. No more nightmares, just darkness, soft and empty and almost peaceful. Morning comes with raised voices downstairs. I creep to the top of the stairs. Listen. Can't be serious. Ellie's voice, tight, controlled. I am serious. Cade. Firm. She stays. For how long? A week? A month? Forever. As long as she needs to. And Harlow? What about him? I'll handle Harlow. How he has legal guardianship. You're harboring a runaway. They could arrest you. Let them try. Silence. Heavy. Then Ellie, again quieter. I'm not objecting to helping the girl, Cade, but you need to understand what you're risking. Your ranch. Your freedom. Your children. I know what I'm risking. Do you? Because from where I stand, it looks like you're making emotional decisions without thinking about consequences. And from where I stand, Cade's voice drops low, dangerous, it looks like you're suggesting I abandon a child who'll die if she goes back. So which is it, Ellie? Are you the woman who understands nightmares and broken bones, or are you the woman who's afraid of complications? Another silence. When Ellie speaks again, her voice is different, softer. You're right, I'm sorry, I'm scared. I came here looking for safety, and now it feels like I've walked into a war. You did. And I won't blame you if you want to leave. The arrangement was made before all this happened. You're not obligated. No, I'm staying. Why? Because you're right. About Harlow, about the girl, about everything. Pause. And because I've spent too many years being afraid. Maybe it's time to be brave instead. I hear footsteps. Quick. I scramble back to my room, shut the door just as someone climbs the stairs. A soft knock. Lily, you awake? Ellie's voice. I open the door. She stands there with a dress draped over her arm. Blue cotton. Simple, but well made. I thought you might like this. I brought several dresses from Philadelphia. This one should fit you better than Martha's old things. I can't take your dress. Yes, you can. I have more, and you need it. She holds it out. Waits. I take it. The fabric is soft. Quality. Better than anything I've ever owned. Thank you. You're welcome. She turns to go, then stops. Lily, I want you to know something. What I said downstairs about complications, I didn't mean you, I meant the situation. Harlow. The legal mess. Not you. It's okay. You're right to worry. Bad things happen around me. That's not true. Yes, it is. I'm cursed. Everyone knows it. Ellie steps into my room, closes the door behind her, sits on my bed and pats the space beside her. I sit. I'm going to tell you something my mother told me when I was young, before she died. Before everything went wrong, she takes my hand. She said, Ellie, people will try to make you believe you're bad, that you bring darkness, that you deserve pain. But here's the truth. You're not responsible for other people's choices. You're not responsible for sickness or accidents or cruelty. You're only responsible for who you choose to be. That's easy to say, harder to believe. I know. I spent years believing I deserved what my husband did to me, that I brought it on myself somehow. But I didn't. And you didn't bring any of this on yourself either. But Samuel died, and the orphanage burned. And none of that was your fault. Samuel died because Harlow locked him in a shed in winter. That's Harlow's sin, not yours. The orphanage burned because of faulty wiring or a careless lamp, not because an 8-year-old girl willed it to happen. She squeezes my hand. You're not cursed, Lily. You're unlucky, and unlucky can change. I've heard that before, from Cade. But hearing it from Ellie, someone who understands nightmares and broken bones and being afraid it hits different. Maybe it's true. Maybe I'm not cursed. Maybe. 3 days pass. Ellie settles into the household like she's always been there. She cooks, cleans, mends clothes, teaches Maggie how to make pie crust, shows Sam how to fold his shirts properly, and she teaches me to read. Not the simple stuff Maggie started with. Real reading, newspapers, books. She sits with me every afternoon at the kitchen table while Maggie and Sam do their chores. Sound it out, she says when I stumble over a word. I can't. It's too hard. You can. Break it into pieces. Consequences. It means the results of actions. That's a stupid word. Maybe. But it's an important one. We read for an hour. Then Ellie pulls out a blank book, leather-bound, pages empty. What's that? Your journal. I thought you might like to write. About what happened. About how you feel. Why would I do that? Because sometimes getting the poison out of your head and onto paper makes it hurt less. I stare at the empty pages, terrified of them. I don't know what to write. Start simple. My name is Lily Mae Morrison. I am 8 years old. Just facts. The rest will come. She leaves the journal with me, goes to start dinner. I sit alone at the table, pencil in hand, staring at that first blank page. Finally, I write, "My name is Lily Mae Morrison. I am 8 years old. Mr. Harlow bought me when I was 6. He said I was cursed. He said God didn't love children like me. But maybe he was wrong. Maybe God sent Mr. Cade and Miss Ellie instead." I close the journal, hide it under my pillow upstairs. That night I sleep without nightmares. On the 4th day, a rider comes. Not Harlow, someone else. I'm hanging laundry with Ellie when we hear the horse. We both freeze. But Ellie recovers first. "Stay here," she says. Then she's moving toward the house, fast. I follow anyway. The rider is young, maybe 24 or 25, thin, tall. A scar runs down his left cheek from eye to jaw. I recognize him. Jonas Reed, one of Harlow's men. Cade is already outside, rifle in hand, not aimed, but ready. "That's far enough," Cade calls. Jonas raises his hands. "I'm not here to fight." "Then state your business and leave." "I need to talk to you. About Harlow. About the girl." "Nothing to talk about." "Please," Jonas's voice cracks. "I'm trying to help." "Help? You held her down while Harlow beat her. You call that help?" Jonas flinches like he's been slapped. "I know what I did. I know what I am. But I can't do it anymore. I can't watch another child die." He climbs off his horse. Slow. Careful. Keeps his hands visible. "I brought something. Proof. Evidence that Harlow's guardianship papers are forged." Cade's grip on the rifle tightens. "How do I know this isn't a trap?" "You don't. But I'm willing to bet my life on it." They stare at each other. Two men measuring danger and truth. "Cade?" Ellie's voice from the porch. "Let him speak." Cade looks at her, then at Jonas. Finally lowers the rifle. "You've got 5 minutes." Jonas reaches into his saddlebag, pulls out a leather folder, hands it to Cade. "These are copies of the guardianship papers Harlow filed in Helena. See the judge's signature?" Cade looks. "Judge Harrison, what about it?" "It's forged. I watched Harlow do it." He traced Judge Harrison's signature from a different document. The judge never signed these papers, never even saw them. Cade flips through the documents. His face goes hard. "Why would you tell me this?" Jonas is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is barely above a whisper. "Because a boy named Samuel died in my arms last winter. He was 7 years old. Froze to death in a shed because Harlow locked him in there as punishment for trying to run away." He looks up, meets Cade's eyes. "Samuel's last words were, 'Tell my mama I'm sorry.' He didn't even remember his mama was dead, and I held him while he died, and I did nothing to help." Tears stream down his scarred face. "I can't bring Samuel back, can't save any of the others who died, but I can save the ones still there. And I can make sure that girl," he points toward me, "never goes back." "Why now? You worked for Harlow for years." "Because I'm tired. Tired of being a coward. Tired of lying to myself that I was just following orders. Tired of seeing children's faces in my dreams." He wipes his face with his sleeve. "I'm going to hell for what I've done. I know that. But maybe I can do one right thing first." Cade studies him for a long time. "If this is a trick, it's not. If you're lying, I'm not. I will kill you myself, understand?" "Yes, sir." Cade looks at Ellie. She nods. He looks at me. I'm standing in the doorway now, frozen. "Lily," Cade says, "is he telling the truth about Samuel?" I nod. Can't speak. Can't breathe. Samuel, my friend. The boy who shared his bread with me when I was starving. The boy who told jokes to make us all laugh, even when there was nothing to laugh about. Dead. And Jonas held him. Was there. Saw it happen. "He gave us extra water," I whisper. "When Harlow wasn't looking. He's not as bad as the others." It's not forgiveness. Can't be. Not yet. Maybe never. But it's acknowledgement. And sometimes that's enough. Cade makes his decision. "You sleep in the barn. Make one wrong move and I'll shoot you where you stand. Clear. Clear. Give me the papers. All of them. And tomorrow you're coming with me to see a lawyer." Jonas hands over the folder. "Thank you." Don't thank me yet. We've got a long fight ahead. That night I can't sleep. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about Samuel, about the 17 other children buried in Harlow's north field, about how close I came to being number 18. Someone knocks softly on my door. Come in. Ellie enters, carries a cup of something that steams. Warm milk with honey. My mother used to make it for me when I couldn't sleep. She hands me the cup, sits on the edge of my bed. You're thinking about the boy, Samuel. How did you know? I saw your face when Jonas said his name. I sip the milk. It's sweet, warm, comforting. He was my friend, my only friend there. He was always smiling, always making jokes. Even when we were starving and freezing and hurting, he found ways to make us laugh. He sounds like he was special. He was. And now he's dead because of me. Lily, if I hadn't run, maybe Harlow wouldn't have been so angry. Maybe Samuel would have been safe. Ellie takes my hand, firm, her grip strong despite her small size. Listen to me. Samuel died because Ezekiel Harlow is evil, not because you ran, not because you wanted to live, because Harlow is a monster who hurts children. But no buts. You're allowed to survive Lily. You're allowed to want more than pain and suffering. Samuel would want you to survive. I know I don't know him, but I know boys who make jokes to help their friends. They're the kind who want others to be happy, who want others to live. I cry then, properly. Deep sobs that shake my whole body. Ellie pulls me against her shoulder, holds me while I break apart. It's not fair, I gasp between sobs. No, it's not. He was only 7, I know. He didn't deserve to die. No child does. We sit like that for a long time, her holding me crying for Samuel, for the 17 others, for all the children who didn't make it out. Eventually the tears stop. I'm empty, exhausted. Ellie helps me lie back down, pulls the covers up, smooths my hair. Miss Ellie? Yes. Thank you. For what? For not leaving when you found out about all this? About Harlow and the complications and everything? You could have left, gone back east, found someone easier. She smiles, sad but real. You know what I realized? Lily's safety isn't a place. It's not a husband or a house or a quiet life. It's knowing you're doing the right thing. And staying here, helping you fighting Harlow, this is the right thing. Even if it's dangerous. Especially if it's dangerous, because the right thing usually is. She stands, moves toward the door. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we start preparing for the fight. What fight? The one that saves you. The one that saves those other children. The one that makes men like Harlow answer for what they've done. Do you think we can win? Ellie pauses in the doorway, looks back at me with those tired, fierce eyes. I think that when good people stop fighting, evil wins by default. So yes, we can win. We have to. She leaves. I finish the warm milk, lie back down, stare at the ceiling. Tomorrow the fight begins. But tonight, for the first time since I can remember, I feel like maybe I'm not alone. Maybe I have people who'll stand with me. Maybe that's enough. Morning comes with purpose. Cade saddles Brutus before dawn. Jonas waits in the yard on his own horse. They're riding to town to see a lawyer named Sterling Locke, who Mrs. Brennan recommended. Stay close to the house, Cade tells us. All of us. Me, Maggie, Sam, Ellie. Don't wander. Don't go anywhere alone. How long will you be gone? Maggie asks. Most of the day, maybe longer, depends on what Locke says. He looks at Ellie. You know how to use a rifle? Yes. Good. One's loaded by the door, just in case. You think Harlow might come. I think we should be prepared either way. He mounts up, sits tall in the saddle, looks back at the house, at his children, at me. We're going to fix this, he says. I promise. Then he and Jonas ride away, east toward town, toward lawyers and legal battles and the long fight ahead. We watch until they disappear over the ridge. Well, Ellie says briskly, we're not going to just sit here worrying. We've got work to do. What kind of work? Sam asks. the kind that keeps us busy and prepared. She organizes us like a small army. Maggie helps her inventory food supplies. Sam checks the water barrels. And me, she sits me down at the kitchen table with paper and pencil. "Write everything," she says. "Every detail you remember about Harlow's place, the building layout, how many children, where they sleep, where Harlow keeps his records, everything." Why? Because when we go to court, and we will go to court, we need to know exactly what we're fighting. Knowledge is power, Lily, and right now you have knowledge no one else does. So I write. I draw a map of Harlow's compound, the main house where he lives, the bunkhouse where we slept, the work areas, the sheds, the north field where the bodies are buried. I list names, every child I can remember, ages, where they came from, which ones are still alive, which ones aren't. It takes hours. My hand cramps. My head hurts from remembering, but I keep writing. Because Ellie's right. This is power. This is ammunition. This is how we fight back. Afternoon stretches long, hot. The sun beats down relentless. We're inside, staying cool when we hear it. Hoofbeats. Multiple horses, coming fast. Ellie's face goes white. She grabs the rifle, moves to the window. "How many?" Maggie whispers. 6, maybe 7. "Is it No. My stomach drops. I know who it is before Ellie says it. It's Harlow. We weren't supposed to have 3 more days, but Harlow's done waiting. Maggie takes Sam and Lily upstairs. "Lock yourselves in your room. Don't come out until I say." But now, we scramble up the stairs into Maggie's room. She locks the door. We huddle by the window where we can see the yard. 6 riders, Harlow in front, 5 men behind him, all armed. They stop 30 feet from the house, close enough to shout. Far enough to avoid easy rifle range. Harlow sits tall in his saddle, black coat, gray beard, cold eyes that find the house like a snake finding prey. "Mrs. Thornhill," he calls out, "I assume you're Cade's new wife." Ellie opens the door, steps onto the porch, rifle in hand but not aimed. "I'm Eleanor Winters. Mr. Thornhill and I aren't married yet." "Ah, the mail-order bride. How quaint." "State your business and leave. My business is simple. Return Lily Mae Morrison to my custody. She's legally mine. Her presence here is kidnapping. She's not property. She's a child. A child under my legal guardianship. I have papers." Forged papers. Harlow's smile falters, just for a second. "Careful, Miss Winters. Slander is a serious accusation. So is child abuse. I discipline children under my care according to biblical principles. The law permits it. Judge Harrison himself signed my guardianship papers. We'll see what Judge Harrison has to say about that." Harlow's smile disappears completely. "Where is Thornhill?" "Not here. I can see that. Where? None of your concern. Everything that happens on this property is my concern. That girl belongs to me, and I will have her back. Over my dead body." The words hang in the air. Dangerous. Final. One of Harlow's men, a thick-built man with a cruel face, reaches for his gun. Ellie raises the rifle. Fast, smooth. Aims it directly at the man's chest. "Touch that gun and I'll put a bullet through your heart." The man freezes. Harlow holds up a hand. "Easy, boys. Miss Winters is simply protecting her household. Can't fault a woman for that." He looks at Ellie, studies her. "You're not from around here, are you? I can tell. Eastern accent, educated, refined. What's a woman like you doing in a backwater like Redstone Valley, building a life? With a widower and his children, and now a cursed little runaway. That's quite a life you're building. Better than yours. You don't know anything about my life. I know you beat children. I know you starved them. I know you worked them until they died and buried them in unmarked graves. Those are serious accusations. Do you have proof?" "We will." Harlow laughs. Cold, mirthless. "You think you can win against me? I have lawyers, judges, friends in Helena who owe me favors. What do you have? A carpenter's widow, a rancher who can barely make payments, a scarred little girl nobody wants. We have the truth. Truth. Harlow spits the word like poison. Truth is what the law says it is, and the law says that girl is mine. Then the law is wrong. The law is, that's all that matters. He gathers his reins, turns his horse. You have until tomorrow at sundown. After that, I return with Marshal Wade and proper documentation, and I will take what's mine. By force, if necessary. Try it. Oh, I will. And Miss Winters, when this is over, when that girl is back where she belongs, you'll wish you'd stayed in Philadelphia. This valley isn't kind to outsiders who cause trouble. Neither am I. Harlow's jaw tightens. He yanks his horse's head around, spurs it hard. The 6 men ride away at a gallop, dust swirling. Ellie doesn't move until they're out of sight. Then she lowers the rifle. Her hands are shaking. She sits down hard on the porch steps, drops her head between her knees. We wait a moment, then Maggie unlocks the door. We creep downstairs. Sam runs to Ellie, throws his arms around her. You were so brave. Ellie laughs, but it sounds like crying. I was terrified. You didn't look it, Maggie says. Good, because my legs are jelly and I think I might be sick. I sit beside her on the steps. Don't touch her. Just sit close. Thank you, I whisper. For what? For not giving me to him. She looks at me. Her eyes are wet but fierce. Lily, I want you to understand something. That man is never getting his hands on you again. Not while I'm alive. Not while Cade's alive. Not while anyone in this family is breathing. But he has the law. Then we'll change the law. Break it if we have to. I meant what I said. Over my dead body. She stands, brushes off her skirts, squares her shoulders. Now, let's assume your father comes home with good news from the lawyer. What do we need to be ready for? Pa's not my father, I say automatically. Ellie looks at me, gentle but firm. He may not be your father by blood, Lily, but he's your father by choice, and that matters more. Something breaks open in my chest. Warm, terrifying, hope. Do you really think we can win? I think that woman who just faced down 6 armed men and didn't flinch has a pretty good chance at anything she sets her mind to. She grins. And honey, I've set my mind to keeping you safe. So yeah, we're going to win. Cade and Jonas return at dusk. We're all waiting in the yard. The second they crest the ridge, we see it in their faces. Good news. Cade dismounts, tired but smiling. Sterling Locke is taking the case. What does that mean? Maggie asks. It means we have a lawyer, a good one. He's filing a petition with the territorial court in Helena. Fraud charges against Harlow. Request for custody review, the whole thing. How long? Ellie asks. Court convenes in 3 weeks. We have to keep Lily safe until then. Harlow was here. Cade goes still. When? This afternoon. He gave us until tomorrow at sundown. What did you tell him? To go to hell. Cade stares at her, then laughs. Full and genuine. You told Ezekiel Harlow to go to hell. In so many words, yes. And you're still standing here. He didn't arrest you, didn't threaten. He threatened. I threatened back. He left. Cade shakes his head, amazed. You're something else, Eleanor Winters. So I've been told. They look at each other. Something passes between them. Understanding. Respect. Maybe more. Jonas clears his throat. Mr. Thornhill, what do you want me to do? Tonight you sleep in the barn. Tomorrow we start fortifying. If Harlow comes with the marshal, we need to be ready. And if the marshal sides with Harlow, then we stall, fight, do whatever it takes to keep Lily safe until the court hearing. That could mean breaking the law. I know. You could lose everything. I know that too. Jonas studies him. Why are you doing this? This girl's nothing to you. Why risk so much? Cade looks at me, really looks at me, because 3 years ago I stood by while someone I loved died. And I've been dead myself ever since, just going through the motions, breathing but not living. He kneels, eye level with me. But then I found this girl dying at an auction, and something in me woke up, said, not again, not this time. And I realized I realized that maybe the reason I survived is so I could save someone else. He puts his hand on my shoulder. You're not nothing, Lily. You're everything. You're the reason I remember how to fight, how to care, how to be alive. I can't speak, can't breathe, can only stare at this man who saved me, this man who's become my father. So, yeah, Cade continues, I'll risk everything because you're worth it. He stands, looks at all of us, his family. Tomorrow we prepare for war, but tonight, let's just be grateful we're all still here, all still together. We go inside. Ellie makes dinner. We eat as a family. And for the first time since Mama died, I feel like I belong somewhere, like I'm home. The morning of the trial comes too fast and too slow all at once. We've spent 3 weeks preparing, 3 weeks of Sterling Locke visiting the ranch, asking questions, taking notes. 3 weeks of me writing my story over and over until the words blur together. 3 weeks of Jonas gathering evidence, documenting names, drawing maps of Harlow's compound. 3 weeks of waiting for the day that will decide everything. I wake before dawn, can't sleep. My stomach churns. The blue dress Ellie gave me hangs on the chair by my window. Pressed, clean, ready. I get dressed in the dark. My hands shake so badly I can barely button the front. A soft knock on my door. Lily, Ellie's voice. You awake? Yes. She comes in carrying a lamp, sets it on my dresser. Her hair is already pinned up. She wears a dark gray dress. Respectable. Serious. How are you feeling? Scared. Good. I look at her. Good. Fear means you understand what's at stake. Means you're human. She sits beside me on the bed. But Lily, you need to know something. Whatever happens today, you're not going back to Harlow. Even if we lose, and we won't, but even if we do, you're not going back. But the law, we'll run, all of us. Canada's not that far. We'll disappear before we let him take you. You can't do that. You'd lose everything. We'd keep what matters, each other. She takes my hand, squeezes it. Now, let's go over your testimony one more time. The ride to Helena takes 4 hours. All of us packed into the wagon, Cade driving, Ellie beside him. Me, Maggie, and Sam in the back. Jonas rides alongside on his horse. The territorial court building is made of stone, 3 stories, imposing. The kind of building designed to make people feel small. It works. We climb the steps. My legs feel like water. Maggie holds one hand. Ellie holds the other. Inside the hallways, echo, our footsteps too loud. Everywhere I look, there are men in suits, lawyers, officials, people who decide fates with papers and words. Sterling Locke meets us outside the courtroom. He's 50-something, gray hair, sharp eyes. He wears a black suit that's seen better days, but he carries himself like he owns the room. Ready? He asks me. No. Good answer. Honesty will serve you well today. He kneels so we're eye level. Lily in there, you're going to see Mr. Harlow. He's going to try to scare you with his stares and his words, but remember, he can't touch you. Not here, not with all these people watching. And if you start to feel afraid, you look at Mr. Thornhill. Look at Miss Ellie. Look at me. We're your armor. Understand? I nod. Now, when you testify, keep your answers short. Don't volunteer extra information. If you don't understand a question, say so. And Lily, he waits until I meet his eyes. Tell the truth, just the truth, nothing more, nothing less. The courtroom door is open. That's us, Locke says. Time to fight. The courtroom is packed, every bench filled, people standing along the walls. I recognize some faces from Redstone Valley. Mrs. Brennan sits in front nodding at me. Pastor Williams looks uncomfortable. Horace Pendleton. Harlow's business partner glares, and there at the defendant's table sits Ezekiel Harlow. He looks different in his black suit, almost respectable, almost kind, if you didn't know what he was, what he'd done. His lawyer, Simon Grant, sits beside him, expensive suit, cold eyes, the kind of man who defends monsters for money. Judge William Crawford enters. Everyone stands. He's old, 70 at least. White hair, stern face, but his eyes are sharp, intelligent. "Be seated," he says. We sit. Crawford looks over the courtroom. His gaze lands on me, softens just slightly. "This court is now in session. Case of Territory of Montana versus Ezekiel Harlow. Charges include child abuse fraud and unlawful imprisonment." He looks at Sterling Locke. "Mr. Locke, you may present your opening statement." Locke stands, buttons his jacket, walks to the center of the courtroom. "Your Honor, gentlemen of the jury," he nods to the 12 men in the jury box. "What you're about to hear will disturb you. It should disturb you. Because we're going to present evidence of systematic abuse, of children worked to death, of forged legal documents, of a man who hid behind respectability while committing atrocities." He pauses, lets the words settle. "The prosecution will prove beyond reasonable doubt that Ezekiel Harlow is guilty of murder, of fraud, of crimes so heinous that only one punishment is appropriate." He turns, points directly at Harlow. "That man is a monster in a suit, and today we're going to remove the suit." Harlow doesn't flinch, just stares back with those cold eyes. Grant stands for the defense. "Your Honor, my client is a charitable man. For 20 years he's provided shelter and vocational training to orphaned children, children nobody else wanted, children from difficult backgrounds who needed structure and discipline." He paces, hands behind his back. "Yes, Mr. Harlow enforced rules. Yes, he required work. But that's not abuse, that's education. Preparing these children for the harsh realities of life. And now, because one ungrateful child ran away, my client faces false accusations from people who know nothing about the challenges of caring for troubled youth." He sits. Judge Crawford nods. "Mr. Locke, call your first witness." The prosecution calls Dr. Henry Morrison. Doc Morrison takes the stand, sworn in, sits straight despite his age. Locke approaches. "Doctor?" "Morrison, you examined Lily Mae Morrison on August 15th of this year. Can you describe her condition? Severe malnutrition, dehydration, multiple infected lacerations across her back shoulders and legs from repeated whipping, several partially healed fractures in her ribs, signs of prolonged abuse and neglect." Murmurs in the courtroom. "In your professional opinion, how long had the abuse been occurring? Based on the scarring patterns, I'd estimate 2 to 3 years minimum. And the cause of death, if Mr. Thornhill hadn't intervened, she would have died within hours. Her body was shutting down." Locke pulls out photographs, hands them to Morrison. "Are these the photographs you took of Miss Morrison's injuries?" Morrison looks. His jaw tightens. "Yes." "Permission to show these to the jury, Your Honor." "Granted." The photographs pass from juror to juror. I watch their faces. Several men pale. One covers his mouth. Another's hands shake. "Doctor?" "Morrison," Locke continues, "in 30 years of practice, have you seen abuse this severe?" "No, sir, never." No further questions. Grant stands for cross-examination. "Dr. Morrison, you said Miss Morrison showed signs of malnutrition. Could that have been from living on the streets?" "Possibly, but not the whip marks." "Perhaps she got into fights with other children. Whip marks are distinctive. These came from a leather strap applied with significant force." "But you can't prove who applied that force, can you?" Morrison looks directly at Harlow. "I know who runs the facility where she lived, where 17 other children are buried in unmarked graves." Speculation, no further questions. The prosecution calls Marshal Henry Wade. Wade takes the stand, badge visible on his vest, face grim. "Marshal Wade, did you conduct an investigation of Mr. Harlow's property?" "I did, on September 1st with proper warrant." "What did you find?" "In the north field, approximately half a mile from the main compound, we found 17 graves, unmarked, shallow." The courtroom erupts, voices rising. Crawford bangs his gavel. "Order! I will have order." Silence falls. Locke continues. You exhumed the bodies. We did, with Dr. Morrison present. And Wade pulls out a notebook, flips pages. His voice is steady, but his hands aren't. 17 children, ages 6 to 14, cause of death varied. Starvation, exposure, blunt force trauma. One child, Samuel Hayes, age 7, died of hypothermia. I stopped breathing. Samuel. They found Samuel. How did you identify the victims? Locke asks. Some had personal items buried with them. Others we matched to missing persons reports. And some, Wade's voice breaks slightly, some we couldn't identify at all. Marshal Wade, in your professional opinion, were these natural deaths? No, sir. These were systematic murders disguised as accidents. No further questions. Grant doesn't even stand for cross-examination. No questions, Your Honor. Smart. Nothing he can say will undo the image of 17 dead children. The prosecution calls Jonas Reed. Jonas walks to the stand. He looks smaller than usual, scared, but determined. After swearing in, Locke asks, Mr. Reed, you worked for Ezekiel Harlow. Yes, sir, 4 years. Sit. What were your duties? Supervising the children, making sure they worked, bringing back runaways. By any means necessary. Jonas swallows hard. Yes, sir. Did you witness Mr. Harlow abuse children? Many times. Can you describe what you saw? Jonas closes his eyes, opens them, looks at the ceiling. Beatings, whippings, children locked in sheds without food or water. I saw Mr. Harlow chain a 10-year-old boy to a post for 2 days in August, heat because he complained about being thirsty. What happened to that boy? He died. Heat stroke. And where is he now? Northfield, one of the 17. Locke holds up documents. Mr. Reed, what are these? Guardianship papers for children in Mr. Harlow's care. Are they legitimate? No, sir. I watched Mr. Harlow forge Judge Harrison's signature. He traced it from different documents. The judge never signed these papers, never even knew they existed. Gasps from the gallery. Crawford bangs his gavel again. Grant jumps up. Objection. This witness is testifying in exchange for immunity. No, sir, Jonas says loudly. I refused immunity. I'm going to prison for what I did. I know that. I accept it. But Mr. Harlow needs to hang. The courtroom goes silent. Grant sits back down, deflated. Mr. Reed, Locke says quietly, why are you testifying? Jonas looks at me, his eyes wet. Because a boy named Samuel died in my arms, and I did nothing to save him, and I have to live with that forever. He wipes his face. But maybe if I tell the truth now, those other kids, the ones still at that farm, maybe they'll get out. Maybe they'll live. No further questions. Grant doesn't cross-examine. Judge Crawford calls for a recess. 15 minutes. We gather in the hallway. Locke pulls me aside. You're next, Lily. Ready? No. Remember what I said. Short answers, truth only. Look at me if you get scared. What if I mess up? You won't. But what if Ellie kneels beside me, takes both my hands? Lily, listen. That man in there hurt you, hurt Samuel, hurt 17 children. And the only way to stop him is to tell your story, your truth. Nobody can take that from you. But I'm scared. Good. Means you're human, but you're also brave. Braver than you know. Cade crouches on my other side. Lily, I want you to remember something. Whatever happens in there, you're coming home with us. You're ours. Nothing will change that. Promise. Promise. The bailiff calls us back in. My moment has come. The prosecution calls Lily Mae Morrison. I stand. My legs shake so badly I nearly fall. Maggie squeezes my hand one last time. Then let's go. I walk to the witness stand. Each step feels like walking through deep water. The courtroom watches, 100 pairs of eyes. The bailiff holds out a Bible. Place your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. I do. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. I do. My voice is barely a whisper. Speak up, child, Judge Crawford says. Not unkind, just firm. I do, I say louder. I sit. The chair is too big, my feet don't touch the floor. Locke approaches, gives me a small encouraging nod. Lily, can you state your name for the court? Lily Mae Morrison. How old are you? 8 years old. Where were you born? Helena, I think. Mama never said exactly. Where did you live before Mr. Thornhill's ranch? I take a breath. Look at the back of the courtroom where Cade and Ellie sit. Harlow's work farm. How long were you there? 2 years, maybe closer to 3. I lost track. How did you come to be at Mr. Harlow's facility? He found me after Mama died. After the orphanage burned, I was on the street. He said he'd give me food and a place to sleep. Did he? At first. But then the work started. What kind of work? Cutting trees, hauling logs, mining sometimes, sunrise to dark, sometimes longer. What happened if you were too slow? My hands start to shake. I grip the edge of the witness box. No food, sometimes for 2 days, sometimes 3. What happened if you complained? He whipped us. Who? Mr. Harlow. I look at him. He stares back. No expression, like I'm nothing. Did he whip you, Lily? Yes. Can you show the court? My hands move to the buttons on my dress. Ellie and I practiced this. Knew it was coming, but that doesn't make it easier. I turn around, unbutton the top, lower the fabric just enough. The courtroom gasps. Even after 3 weeks of healing, the scars are visible, white lines across my shoulders, down my back, some still pink and raised. You may cover yourself, Judge Crawford says gently. I do. Button up. Turn back around, face the jury. Several men are crying, not all, but enough. Lily, Locke continues, did you know a boy named Samuel Hayes? My throat closes. Yes. Can you tell us about him? He was my friend. He was 7, always smiling, always making jokes even when we were hungry. What happened to Samuel? Tears come before I can stop them. He tried to run away. Mr. Harlow caught him, locked him in the shed. It was winter, January, cold. How long was he in there? All night. We heard him crying, calling for help, but nobody came. Did you see him the next morning? Yes, Mr. Harlow made us look, said it was a lesson. He wasn't moving. His lips were blue. His eyes were open, but he wasn't there anymore. What did Mr. Harlow say? He said Samuel was weak, that weak children deserve what they get, that it was God's will. My voice breaks. But it wasn't God's will, it was murder. The courtroom erupts. Voices shouting, Crawford banging his gavel. Order, order, or I'll clear this room. Silence falls slowly. Locke lets it settle, then asks, Lily, why did you run away? Because I knew I was next. I saw how he looked at me, like Samuel looked before Samuel died. And I thought maybe dying free was better than dying in that place. How did you end up at the auction? I ran. Didn't know where I was going. Just ran. Didn't eat for 3 days. Drank from streams. When I got to Redstone Valley, I collapsed. I thought I was dying. Who found you? I look at Cade. He's crying, not hiding it. Mr. Cade Thornhill. What did he do? He saved me. He breathed air into my lungs when I stopped breathing. He carried me to the doctor. He took me home. He chose me when nobody else would. My voice steadies. Mr. Cade is the first person who ever made me feel like I wasn't cursed, like I was worth saving. Locke waits a beat. Then, no further questions, Your Honor. He returns to his seat. Now comes the hard part. Simon Grant stands, adjusts his jacket, approaches with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Miss Morrison, you've told quite a story, very dramatic, very emotional. It's not a story. It's the truth. Is it, or is it what Mr. Thornhill coached you to say? Objection. Locke is on his feet. Sustained, mister. Grant approached the witness with respect, or not at all. Grant nods. My apologies, Your Honor. He turns back to me. Lily, you said you lived on the streets after your mother died. Is that correct? Yes. How long? I don't know. A few weeks, maybe. And during that time you stole food. I was hungry. But you stole? Yes. So you're admitting to being a thief. I was 6 years old, and starving. Nevertheless, you broke the law. Locke stands again. Your Honor, is there a point to this? Grant smiles. Simply establishing the witness's character, Your Honor. Make your point quickly, Mr. Grant. Lily, you said Mr. Harlow whipped you for being too slow at work. But isn't it true you were often disobedient, that you refused to work? No, I worked hard. We all did. Did you ever steal food at Mr. Harlow's facility? Sometimes. When I was too weak to work and they wouldn't feed me. So you admit to theft again. I admit to trying to survive. Convenient excuse. It's the truth. Grant pulls out papers. I have here testimony from 3 workers at Mr. Harlow's facility. They all say you were a troublemaker, disobedient, violent. That's a lie. Is it, or are you lying now to gain sympathy, to stay in Mr. Thornhill's comfortable house instead of returning to honest work? Anger floods through me, hot and bright. Honest work. You call starving children honest work. You call beating them until they bleed honest work. You call working a 7-year-old boy until he dies of cold honest work. Grant steps back. Your Honor, the witness is being hostile. The witness, Judge Crawford says dryly, is answering your questions. Continue. Grant tries a different approach. Lily, you've been living with Mr. Thornhill for several weeks now. Correct. Yes. Getting 3 meals a day. Yes. A warm bed. Yes. New clothes. Yes. So you have quite a bit to gain by making Mr. Harlow look bad. If you go back to his facility, you lose all those comforts. I stare at him. Can't believe what I'm hearing. I have everything to gain by telling the truth, by making sure no other child dies like Samuel died, like the 17 others died. You're very articulate for a street child. Miss Ellie's been teaching me to read. How convenient. Something inside me snaps. I stand up in the witness box. Everyone gasps. You want to know what's convenient? It's convenient that men like you defend monsters. It's convenient that you get paid to call children liars. It's convenient that you can go home tonight and sleep while 17 children are in the ground. Lily? Judge Crawford starts. No. My voice rings out, clear, strong. I'm not finished. I turn to face the jury, all 12 men staring at me. You want proof? Look at my back. Look at the scars. Count them if you want. 37 whip marks. I counted while the doctor stitched me up. I turn to face Harlow. He's not smiling now. You want proof? Dig up those 17 children. Look at their bones. See how they were worked to death. Lily, sit down, Crawford says, but his voice is gentle. I won't sit down. Not until everyone in this room understands what Mr. Harlow is. I point at him. He's a murderer. He killed Samuel. He killed 17 others. And if you let him go, he'll kill more. My voice breaks, but I don't stop. I'm 8 years old. I've seen more death than grown men see in a lifetime, and I'm not going to stay quiet so you can all feel comfortable. Tears stream down my face. You want to know why I ran? Because dying free is better than living in hell. And you want to know why I fought so hard to survive? Because Samuel can't. Because those 17 children can't. Someone has to speak for them. I wipe my face. And if that someone has to be me, then fine. I'll speak. I'll tell the truth until everyone hears it, until justice is done, until men like Harlow hang for what they've done. Silence. Complete. Total. Silence. Then someone starts clapping. Mrs. Brennan, standing, applauding. Another person joins, then another. Soon half the courtroom is standing, clapping, some crying. Crawford doesn't stop them, just watches. His face unreadable. Finally, he bangs his gavel. Order. We will have order. The applause stops. People sit. Crawford looks at Grant. Do you have any further questions for this witness? Grant stares at me, then slowly shakes his head. No, Your Honor, no further questions. The witness may step down. I walk back to my seat on shaking legs. Cade catches me, pulls me into his arms, holds me while I cry. You did it, he whispers. You were perfect. The prosecution rests. The defense calls its witnesses. 3 men who worked at Harlow's facility. All testify that conditions were adequate, that discipline was fair, that children were well fed and cared for. But Locke tears them apart on cross-examination, points out inconsistencies, shows that all 3 receive pay from Harlow's business partners. By the time the defense rests, their testimony is worthless. Judge Crawford calls for closing arguments. Grant stands first. His closing is weak, defensive. He argues that Harlow is a charitable man misunderstood, that discipline is necessary, that the prosecution has no concrete proof of murder, but the jury isn't buying it. I can see it in their faces. Locke stands for the prosecution's closing. Gentlemen of the jury, you've heard testimony from doctors, marshals, and eyewitnesses. You've seen photographs of abuse. You've learned about 17 children buried in unmarked graves. And you've heard from Lily Mae Morrison herself. He pauses. The defense wants you to believe this is about discipline, about education, about preparing children for harsh realities. His voice hardens. But what you've actually witnessed is systematic murder. A man who took vulnerable children nobody else wanted and worked them to death, then buried the evidence and claimed God's approval. He turns to the jury. Ezekiel Harlow is guilty of fraud, of child abuse, of murder, and he's guilty of something worse, of hiding his crimes behind respectability, behind charity, behind religion. Locke looks each juror in the eye. Today you have the power to speak for 17 children who can't speak for themselves. You have the power to protect the children still trapped at that facility. You have the power to say that in Montana Territory we protect the vulnerable. We punish the guilty. We do what's right. He returns to his seat. The jury will deliberate, Crawford announces. 5 hours. We wait in a small room down the hall. Can't leave, can't eat, just wait. Ellie paces. Cade sits with his head in his hands. Maggie and Sam huddle together. Jonas stands by the window. I curl up in a chair and try not to think about what happens if we lose. Finally, the bailiff appears. Jury's back. My heart stops. We file back into the courtroom, take our seats. The jury enters. 12 men. Faces serious. Has the jury reached a verdict? Crawford asks. The foreman stands. An older man. Farmer, by the look of him. We have, Your Honor. On the charge of child abuse, how do you find guilty? The word hits like thunder. People gasp, cry out. Crawford bangs his gavel, but he's smiling slightly. On the charge of fraud, guilty. On 17 counts of murder. The foreman looks at Harlow. His voice is steady. Guilty on all counts. The courtroom explodes. People shouting, crying. Harlow screaming that it's a lie, that the jury is wrong, that he's innocent. I can't hear anything. Can't process. Can only feel Cade's arms around me, and Ellie's hand in mine, and Maggie's voice saying, "We won, we won, we won." Crawford bangs his gavel over and over until order returns. Ezekiel Harlow, he says, voice ringing with authority, you have been found guilty on all charges. Given the severity of your crimes, I sentence you to death by hanging. Sentence to be carried out in 30 days. Harlow lunges forward. Deputies grab him, hold him back. This isn't over, he screams. That girl is cursed. Everyone who touches her dies. You'll see, you'll all see. They drag him away, his voice echoing down the hall. And then he's gone. The monster who haunted my nightmares is gone. Outside the courthouse, people crowd around us. Mrs. Brennan hugs me tight. You were so brave, child, so brave. Pastor Williams apologizes for doubting. I should have stood with you from the start. Even Marshal Wade shakes Cade's hand. You did right by that girl. But the best moment comes when Judge Crawford approaches. Mr. Thornhill, Miss Winters, I'd like to speak with you privately. We follow him to his chambers, a small office filled with law books and papers. Sit, he says. We do. Crawford leans against his desk, studies us. I've been a judge for 30 years. I've seen a lot of ugly things, but this case... He shakes his head. This case reminded me why we have laws, why we fight for justice. He pulls out papers, sets them on the desk. I'm granting you full legal custody of Lily Mae Morrison, effective immediately. Cade's voice breaks. Your Honor, I don't know what to say. Say you'll take care of her. Say you'll give her the life she deserves. I will. We will. Crawford looks at me. Lily, do you want to live with Mr. Thornhill and Miss Winters? Yes, sir, more than anything. Do you feel safe with them? Yes, sir. Good. He signs the papers, stamps them, hands them to Cade. She's yours, legally, officially, forever. Then Crawford does something unexpected. He kneels, looks at me directly. Lily Mae Morrison, what you did today took more courage than most men show in a lifetime. You spoke for the dead, you fought for the living, and you won. He smiles. Don't ever let anyone tell you you're cursed. You're blessed. And I'm honored to have witnessed your testimony. He stands, shakes Cade's hand, then Ellie's. There are 12 other children still at Harlow's facility. I'm appointing you temporary guardians while we find permanent homes. 12. Cade looks stunned. Is that a problem? No, it's just, we'll take them, Ellie says firmly. All of them, for as long as they need. Crawford smiles. I thought you might say that. We leave Helena as the sun sets. The wagon rolls through golden light. Behind us, the courthouse grows smaller. Ahead, the mountains rise purple and vast. I sit between Cade and Ellie. Maggie and Sam are in back singing. Jonas rides alongside, quiet but present. Lily, Cade says, there's something we need to ask you. What? Ellie and I? We're getting married. For real this time, not just for legal reasons. I look at Ellie. She's blushing. We talked about it, and we realized that what started as an arrangement has become something more. You love each other. We do, Cade says simply. And, Ellie continues, we want you to know that you're not just staying with us. You're our daughter, in every way that matters. Cade pulls out a paper, the custody document Crawford signed. This makes it legal, but we want to make it real. If you want, when we marry, we'd like to officially adopt you, make you a Thornhill, make this family permanent. My throat closes. Can't speak. You don't have to answer now, Ellie says quickly. Take your time. Think about... Yes? They look at me. Yes, I want to be a Thornhill. I want to be your daughter. Ellie starts crying, happy tears. Cade pulls us both close. Then it's settled, he says. We're a family. 6 months later. February 1883. The ranch is bigger now. 2 new bunkhouses built with help from neighbors. 12 children from Harlow's farm living here while Sterling Locke works to find them permanent homes. Some will stay. Others will go to families in town. But all of them are safe, fed, loved. I'm in the barn teaching 3 younger kids to read. We sit in the hayloft, afternoon sun streaming through the cracks. Sound it out? I tell a little boy named Thomas. He's 7. Can't read yet, but he's trying. Freedom, he says slowly. Good. What does that mean? When you can go wherever you want and nobody can stop you. Exactly. A little girl named Annie looks up from her book. Lily, are we really free now? Mr. Harlow's really gone. He's gone. They hanged him last month. He can never hurt anyone again. But what if someone else comes? What if nobody's taking you anywhere? Mr. Cade and Miss Ellie promised. But you're special. You're their real daughter now. We're just your family too, all of you. Maggie appears at the top of the ladder. Lily Pa says to come. Miss Ellie's asking for you. I climb down, run to the house. Ellie stands in the kitchen. She's wearing her wedding dress, simple white cotton. Today's the day. The real wedding. Not the rushed practical one, but the one with family and love and promises. How do I look? She asks. Beautiful. She smiles, nervous, happy. Lily, I want you to know something. When I came here 6 months ago, I was running away from my past, from pain. I wasn't looking for family, just safety. She takes my hands. But you gave me something better than safety. You gave me purpose. You taught me what it means to fight for someone you love, to stand up even when you're terrified, to be brave. I learned that from you. Then we taught each other. She pulls me into a hug. I'm so glad you're my daughter. I'm glad you're my mother. The word feels right, natural, true. The wedding happens at sunset. Just family and close friends. Mrs. Brennan, Dr. Morrison, Sterling Locke, the children from the farm, Pastor Williams officiating. We stand in the yard, Cade at the makeshift altar, handsome in his good suit, nervous. Ellie walks down the aisle, just the space between the barn and the house. I walk beside her, her maid of honor. When we reach Cade, she takes his hands. Pastor Williams speaks about love and commitment and family, about how the best marriages are built on respect and choice and fighting for each other. Then Cade says his vows. Eleanor Winters, I promise to love you, to stand beside you, to protect you and our children, all of them, with everything I have. His voice catches. You came into my life when I thought I was done living. You taught me how to feel again, how to fight, how to love. He looks at me, at Maggie and Sam. You made us a family, and I will spend every day earning that gift. Ellie's turn. Cade Thornhill, I promise to love you, to build a life with you, to face whatever comes together. She smiles through tears. 6 months ago, I came here running, but what I found was worth running too. A man who stands up for what's right, children who need love, a home worth fighting for. She looks at me. You gave me a daughter, and in doing so, you gave me everything. I now pronounce you husband and wife, William says. You may kiss your bride. They do. Gentle, sweet, real. Everyone cheers, and I think about Samuel, about the 17 others, about how much was lost, but also about how much was saved. 12 children safe, 1 family built, a monster defeated, hope. Later that night, after the celebration, after the children are asleep, I sit on the porch with Cade and Ellie. The stars are bright, the valley quiet, perfect. Pa, I say, testing the word. He smiles. Yeah, Lily. Do you think Samuel knows about what happened, about the trial, and Mr. Harlow and everything? Cade is quiet for a moment. I think Samuel knows you fought for him, that you made sure his death meant something, and I think he'd be proud. What about the others, the 17? Them too. Ellie takes my hand. You gave them justice, Lily. You gave them a voice. That's more than most people get. I wish I could have saved them. You did, Cade says. Maybe not their bodies, but their memory, their story. You made sure they weren't forgotten. He pulls me close. And you saved those 12 kids sleeping in the bunkhouse. You saved yourself. That's not nothing. That's everything. We sit in silence for a while, just being together. Finally, Ellie speaks. Lily, I want you to know something. I wrote to my old teacher in Philadelphia. She runs a school for girls. I told her about you, about your reading and writing, about how smart you are. Why? Because someday when you're ready, maybe you'd like to go to a real school, learn everything you can, become a teacher yourself, maybe. I don't want to leave. Not now. Not for years, but someday. She squeezes my hand. You have a future, Lily, a real one, where you can be anything you want, do anything you choose, and we'll support you. Always. Cade nods. You're not trapped anymore. Not by Harlow, not by the past, not by anything. You're free, Ellie says. Free. The word settles over me like a warm blanket. I'm free. Free to live, to learn, to love, to be Lily Mae Thornhill. Not cursed, not broken, just free. Ditcha. I pull out my journal that night, the one Ellie gave me months ago. Turn to a fresh page. Write my name is Lily Mae Thornhill. I am 9 years old, and I am home. Once I thought I was cursed, thought bad things happened because of me. But I learned something important. Curses aren't real. Bad people are, and good people fight them. I have a family now, a real one. Not perfect, but real. Pa Cade, who saved me. Ma Ellie, who taught me to be brave. Maggie and Sam, who are my brother and sister, and 12 other kids who needed saving just like I did. Samuel is gone, so are the 17 others. I can't bring them back, but I can live for them, be the person they didn't get to be, make sure their deaths meant something. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to live, really live. I'm going to learn everything I can. I'm going to help other kids who are scared and alone. I'm going to be strong. And someday, when I'm old enough, I'm going to make sure no child ever goes through what I went through. That's my promise. To Samuel, to the others, to myself. I'm Lily Mae Thornhill, and I'm just getting started. I close the journal, put out the lamp, lie down in my bed, in my room, in my house, with my family, safe, loved, home.